Today we're making satay chicken meal prep bowls. It's balanced, it's full of flavour, it stores and reheats incredibly well, and this right here is all of the ingredients we're going to need for today's recipe, plus the additions of oil, salt, pepper, and rice. Now starting out, we're going to need about 3 bunches of pak choi, roughly 400 grams or 14 ounces. You can leave these whole, you can slice them in half. What I'm going to do is just go through and roughly chop, starting at the leaves, going all the way to the root. And then when you get to that root piece, this bit can just be discarded. Whichever way you decided to prepare it, it will need a wash as it's a layered vegetable, so just rinse it under cold water and allow it to drain. Following the pak choi, we're going to need 2 cloves of garlic. Just crush these with the side of your knife and then go through and roughly chop. Doesn't need to be super fine, and you can slice this if you prefer. You can also grate it, but it will burn a lot quicker. We're going for that nice nutty flavor, that nice nutty texture as well. So chopping it up like this is going to get that best result. Like I said, we're not looking for anything too perfect. All we need is something that looks like this. Now an optional ingredient is about 2 or 3 spring onions or scallions, and all we need to do is go through and thinly slice into those small thin rounds. You can cut this any way you like, and you don't have to use it if you don't want to. Like I always say, don't go out and buy a whole bunch just to use 3. If you wanted to extend the life of this, you can place it into ice cold water. It's also going to crisp up that way too. Another optional ingredient is 60 grams or 2 ounces of unsalted peanuts. And all we need to do with these is go through and roughly chop. You don't have to use these at all. These are going to be used as a garnish right at the end. Just adds that nice little finishing touch to the end product, but like I said, it's completely optional. I should also say that we're not looking for perfection here. We just don't want it to be too fine, and we don't want it to be too coarse, so somewhere in between. Something that looks like that. The chicken we're using for today's recipe is 800 grams or 1.7 pounds of boneless and skinless chicken breast. You can also use chicken thigh if you prefer. For this, I'm going to slice it directly in half. I like to butterfly it first, just makes things a little bit more accurate, and then go through and slice into 2 even-sized fillets. With those fillets, I then slice into even-sized strips. You probably get about 2 or 3 slices. Rotate and then dice into small to medium-sized pieces, making sure that everything is the same size. That way it's all going to cook at the same rate. And I've been preferring the smaller pieces at the moment. They just cook up a lot better. You get a better color on them as well. So we'll just go through and continue with the remaining chicken breast until you have all of those even sized pieces. Get that chicken into a large mixing bowl. Add in 1 teaspoon each of garlic powder, ground coriander, as well as ground cumin. Season generously with salt. Add in a little bit of ground white pepper or cracked black pepper if you prefer, and a very small splash of peanut oil. All we need to do is use clean hands, just mix those spices through the chicken, make sure none of that chicken's stuck together, and we can allow this to marinate up to 48 hours, or you can use it straight away if you'd like to. Now before we get cooking, a quick note on the cookware that I'm using in today's video, because I get asked this question quite a bit. I'm using stainless steel again, and honestly, I have really missed it. It takes me right back to my fine dining background and restaurant days, and we'd use stainless steel in every service. The stainless steel pans, they create real heat, proper searing, fantastic sauces. I don't even know why I stopped using them at home, because it brings back so many memories and what I used to cook with and how I like to cook. So let me introduce you to these beautiful pans by Made In. The saucepan is what I'm going to be using to cook the rice today, as well as many sauces in the future. It's fully clad stainless, so the heat travels evenly up the side of the pan, creating that steady simmer without scorching. The smaller 8-inch pan is perfect for toasting nuts and spices. You can even cook your eggs in here. It's just quick, controlled heat with no hot spots. The larger 12-inch pan is my complete workhorse. You've got proteins, vegetables, sauces, everything. One thing I love most about stainless steel is it lets food release naturally, so you get that proper color and helps build flavor in the pan. Now this is premium cookware, and that does actually matter because it genuinely changes the way that you cook. Don't just take my word for it though. These pans are used in thousands of high-end restaurants, as well as multiple 3 Michelin-star restaurants. They've also got over 100,000 5-star reviews from chefs and home cooks, which does say a lot. So go check out the stainless range from Made In. I've got a link in the description as well as in the pinned comment. Thank you so much to Made In for supporting the channel and allowing me to use these beautiful pans. Now we'll place our saucepan onto our stovetop. Add in 1.5 cups or 300 grams of jasmine rice that's been washed, 550 milliliters of cold water. I like to add a nice pinch of salt to my rice, but of course you don't have to if you don't want to. Place this over a high heat. Give this a quick stir just to prevent anything from clumping, and we can bring this up to a boil. Once it's at a boil, we'll place on a lid, reduce the heat to low, and cook this for 12 minutes undisturbed. In the meantime, we can place our small 8-inch pan onto our stovetop and just place this over a medium-low heat. Add in those chopped peanuts. And all we're going to do is mix these around and toast them for a couple of minutes until they're golden and brown and have that really nice aroma. We don't want to put too much color on them because they will start to burn. And if they do that, they'll go bitter and you have to restart and do it again. A good little tip is just to keep moving these around. We don't want anything to be burning at the bottom. So once you start getting a little bit of color on them, turn the pan off. And what you're looking for is something that looks like this. Like I said, we don't want too much color on them, just for that nice aroma to start developing. Now for everything else, we're going to be using our 12-inch pan, so we'll place this over a medium-high heat, and we want to allow this to heat up for a couple of minutes. With stainless steel pans, it does take a little bit longer, but with that correct heat, you're going to get the perfect sear and the perfect cook. Once the pan is nice and hot, add in 1 tablespoon of peanut oil. You'll start to see it lightly smoke. It's exactly where we want it, and then we can add in our pak choi. Add in a pinch of salt, and then we're going to cook this for about 2 minutes, just until it's wilted down. You can cook it for a bit longer if you prefer, but 2 minutes is just the right amount, especially if we're going to be reheating this. We do need to take that into consideration. We'll keep this moving around, allow this to gain some nice color and for those leaves to start wilting down. After a couple of minutes, it's starting to soften up, but it's still got that nice al dente bite. It's exactly where we want it. We can then add in our garlic. Make sure you scrape all of that in there. Garlic only needs about 30 seconds. We just want it to get nice and fragrant and allow those flavors to become friends. Just double check it for seasoning, adjusting if necessary, and with this, it can be removed from the pan. Now place that pan back over a medium-high heat and get this nice and hot. Once we're smoking, add in 1 teaspoon of peanut oil, and we're going to do the chicken in batches, and for this one, I'm going to do half at a time. Once it's in the pan, just spread it out evenly and allow this to sit for a couple of minutes just to build up a crust. We just don't want any of it to be all on top of each other and stuck together. With the correct heat, all of this will release naturally, just like so. You have that beautiful golden sear, that beautiful golden color all over the chicken. We'll just keep repeating this, so just mix it around and let it sit for another couple of minutes just to build that color up on the other sides. And we want to cook this for a total of about 4 to 5 minutes because we cut that chicken quite small. Now after about 4 minutes, you've got a really nice golden color all over that chicken, and there's a really nice amount of fond being built up in the bottom of the pan. It's exactly where we want it. Just gonna slightly turn this down a little bit and then remove this chicken from the pan. Place that same pan back over a medium-high heat, get it nice and hot, and then add in another 1 teaspoon or so of peanut oil. And when it's nice and hot again, we can add in the remaining chicken and just repeat the same process. Now all of that fond that's left in the pan is going to help flavor our sauce. We're going to add in 1 1/4 cups or 300 milliliters of chicken stock. Keep this over a medium-high heat at this point, and we're just going to mix this around, allow that stock to come up to a simmer or even a very low boil, and this is going to rip up all of that flavor that's left behind from all of the chicken. Now with this at a simmer, just keep mixing it around every now and again. We're going to cook this for about 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, just until it rips up all of that flavor from the bottom of the pan. This is a fantastic way to clean the pan as well. Now once the pan has mostly been deglazed, we're going to add in 125 grams or 4.4 ounces of natural peanut butter. Now keep this over a low heat and just keep mixing this around until everything is evenly combined. You can switch to a whisk here if you prefer. At this point, we'll add in 1.5 tablespoons of low sodium soy sauce, 1.5 tablespoons of fish sauce, 1.5 tablespoons of honey, just adds that little bit of sweetness and helps cut back the fish sauce. 1.5 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar, apple cider vinegar, or even lime juice if you prefer. But if you're using lime juice, just make sure you add it right at the end. 1 teaspoon of curry powder, just for that extra flavor. And I'm also going to add in a little bit of ground white pepper. Use a whisk, keep this over a low heat, and just mix everything together, mainly breaking up that honey as well as that curry powder. We want this to be a nice smooth sauce. Just double check it for seasoning. If you need to add a little bit more acidity, go for it, as well as salt and pepper. Definitely won't need to add salt, but you might want to add a little bit more cracked black pepper to this, and that is completely fine. What we're looking for is that you can run a spatula through it and it creates those ribbons, as you can see in the pan right there. With our chicken, I'm just going to add this back in. Just be careful it doesn't splash and you end up with satay sauce all over yourself. And add in any resting juices as well, just for all that extra flavor. All we need to do with this is mix everything thoroughly. Just allow that chicken to be completely sauced up with all of that satay. There will be a little bit extra sauce as well, and that's perfectly fine. We can either put this into separate containers at the end, or you can just spoon it all over the final product. With our optional ingredients, we won't be using this many peanuts as garnish, so we can add a little bit in there now just to add a little bit of texture. I'm also going to do the same with a little bit of spring onion or scallion. Mix that all through, make sure everything is evenly combined, and what you should have is this beautiful chicken that looks like this, that can be removed from the stovetop. Now back to the rice, let's carefully remove the lid, just be careful of any escaping steam. And all we need to do is fluff this up with a fork or a spatula. You're going to have this beautiful sticky jasmine rice, and nothing is stuck to the bottom of that saucepan. These are absolutely fantastic. Now we'll start with portioning out our rice. This recipe will serve 5 750 milliliter containers. Next, we'll add in our pak choi. I'm just going to place this in the middle and use it as a divider. Again, you can either weigh this out or just divide everything evenly. And then lastly, we've got our satay chicken that can go on the opposite side. We'll then garnish these with our toasted peanuts, and this just creates a really nice texture and that nice finishing touch. Now we'll let these cool down slightly before we place on the lids. They'll last 4 days in the fridge and 4 months in the freezer. If you have them frozen, just allow them to thaw overnight in the fridge before reheating. And your best bet for reheating is either in a pan with a splash of water or stock to rehydrate, or you can do so in a microwave. There's only one thing left to do, and that is we can then dig in. That right there is a beautiful blend of flavors. The satay sauce is exactly how it should be. The pak choi just adds a beautiful textural crunch, and then the rice just brings it all together. I cannot wait for you guys to try it yourselves. And thank you so much to Made In for sponsoring this video. Go click the link in the description as well as in the pinned comment and grab yourself some stainless steel pans. Thanks for watching.